Okay, today we're going to do a video that's just going to go through and update you on all my plants here in midsummer. I've also got a few new things for the channel. I got a new recording device which is separate from the camera, so I should be getting better quality sound. I will have, for future videos that are just stationary, a light. So I know some of my videos I've had trouble where the light is failing on me because clouds, different stuff. This will give light forward, and I won't have to rely completely on the sunlight. So that'll help too. I have all my videos up to date to this one, that I've shown everything, so as we're going through there won't be nothing really, unless I did something off camera that's a surprise. Right here are some of my new trees I got. This one in the front, this is a Trident Maple. As some of the trees I got an oak, a cedar, yeah, blue Atlas cedar or Atlas cedar. I got another crabapple and a few maples, and some of them had, which I've gotten that from this guy. Some of them had some, as you can see maybe on this leaf here, there's a little bit of a fungus on the leaves, and you know, they're pushed together all together and all that stuff, so it's not really that surprising that they sometimes get, I have it on mine sometimes, some of my maples get it, the fungus, but all of I had cut it back when I threw it, because I threw all the maples and the whatchamacallit. I didn't like the soil they're in, so I put them in my own soil. I didn't touch the roots except for removing most of the dirt. I just wanted them out of that dirt. I know they do better over the winter in this stuff than the more wet soil. At least I have more trim, and I've not really had much trouble of mid-summer doing some of these trees if you don't really touch the roots. I just, like I said, I remove most of the dirt, then I put them in new dirt, and then I keep them side. I want to do probably the crabapple and maybe the cedar too, but I ran out of soil at the time, so they're still in the other soil. But anyways, the Trident Maple lost all its leaves. I sprayed them all down, which I do a lot of times when I get new trees anyways. I spray them down with some fungicide just to make sure they are not bringing in any fungus to my trees. I give them a spray down, but the Trident lost all its leaves. It was probably the worst, but as you can see, it's putting plenty of new growth on, so it's just fine. These are some new Bougainvilleas I bought. I'm going to try Bougainvilleas one more time. I really had a trouble with the last ones I've had. The last two finally died on me. I think I might be overwatering them. It might be a tree that I'm actually overwatering. This is a new, this maple I got, I'm turning into a cascade, because the Katura I tried to make into a cascade just died. No, it was doing fine and then it died. Sometimes trees do that for some reason. You do work on them and then they'll do good and then they just die. This I think is called, yeah, Fall Gold, and I think I have another Fall Gold. That's another Fall Gold back here. And then this is something else. Hike, something like that. I'll put the name on the screen of that one. And then this is a Valley Oak I bought. I had cut that back and I tried to turn the the top into a cutting. I don't know if it'll work or not. Over here, this is the neglected weeping willow I've had for years. This is the one that grew and then broke and was just a little stub. And then this is all grown off that stub. But where it broke and grew, it had some reverse taper. So when I repotted it finally, which it's been overdue for repotting, I buried it deeper, and hopefully we can get some roots to grow where the reverse taper is, and use that as the new base for it. I had chopped it here, and you can see it's doing real good. I really need to put it back out with the rest, probably, and get it in water, in a tray of water. These are some cuttings back there of them. I have bunch of cuttings. This one looks like it died. These don't have enough water. I don't think they're getting some of them. I mean, they all survived and became cuttings, but some of them just didn't survive afterwards, which is what I find with these. This is my Boxwood collection. I have, what do I have now? I have this one down here is a grouping of 3 Kingswoods. This is the newest Kingswood that I haven't really worked on yet. I got it in the mid-spring, and then these are 3 individual Kingswoods that I bought with those other 3. This is the one I got from my group when we did the workshop that I participated in. This one I got off the internet shortly after the one I got from the group, and then this is the one I've got at like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. But that's the one that has the really nice bark, I think. And back there is a Forsythia that I don't plan on doing anything with. Whenever we finally have my bonsai groups again, after all this stuff is over with COVID, I'm gonna probably take it and see if anybody wants it there. I had bought that, buried it lower, and air layered it. Well, ground layered it really, because I did it underground. Same difference, but the layer is in the actual soil. And it must have took very well because it survived. I don't think it would have lived. Usually they don't live if they don't put out some kind of roots. So we have that. I'm looking to get rid of that because I bought another one that I like better than that one. This here is a yew that I collected from between the cement and the house, right about where that break in the siding of the house is. It had grown there naturally. It just somehow a seed grew, and it had been growing there for years, and anyways, it was decided it didn't need to be there anymore, so I took it and dug it up. It was really easy to dig up, except that I think these trees, these maples out here, the big maples, have grown roots underneath this and made a big layer of roots. So I had to get through those roots to get this out. But other than that, this thing did really great because I don't think I disturbed much of the roots. It came really easy out of the ground. And it looks good. It had put out a little bit of new growth here and there. It probably would have put out more if I hadn't dug it up early, but this is just a red maple I found. I don't know, I found it in one of these pots here, or one of the other ones. I found it in a pot though. When I pulled it out, I just buried it in this, which had another little seedling that didn't make it. So that's going to be watered today. Here, we'll come around this side. Here is my collected yew. This is doing really good. I can get a better view of it here. It's about as good as it. But everything that survived the winter, put out new growth on it. I've started working a little bit on the deadwood, cleaning it up. I want to do some more work. As I assumed when I cut this off, most of this died, so we only got a living vein in the back, so I got to work this some. I've got a bit that hopefully will work to work this down. I just need to work it down some. I don't want to get rid of it all, but I need to work it down a little bit, like there was, you know, there was something there and it died off. And this I think I'm going to shorten to a little stub. This is just too much with this coming up. I think I'm just going to make it a little stub here. But it's doing good. It looks good. Look at it from the back from this side again. But yeah, everything that survived had a new growing tips on it, so nice and healthy. I did a little bit of wiring just to start getting it into form. Like this growth I wanted brought down more if I'm going to keep this. I'm not sure if I'm keeping all this. I might bring this back. I'm not sure yet. And then I brought this branch over. So that is the stuff that's either waiting to get put back into light or is staying in the light. Like the yews stay here, at least for now. This is where I keep the boxwoods because they don't need a lot of light, especially the kingswood. But as you can see on this, if you might be able to see on this one got too much light last year, and there's still some older leaves that it got, like the edges, the ends are a little yellow. They had some more of them. There's some back in there that have some yellow edges and stuff. So you got to keep them. They don't need a lot of sun. Too much sun is not good for a boxwood. So okay, we'll move to the next area. Okay, here's the back steps and a new bench I built back here in the back for stuff like the maples, the larches, stuff that's going to go out front eventually, because we don't get a lot of sun back here. Usually until 2 or 3, the sun is in front of the house over the trees, and about somewhere between 2 and 3 this starts getting uncovered. Then there's usually maybe a couple of maybe an hour or two of some sunlight. The trees behind me, then it goes behind some trees for a while, and then you get a couple hours here towards evening. This is about what I think it's 5:30, somewhere in there. So they get some evening sun until there's another tree that blocks them. But a lot of this stuff doesn't need a lot of light. I know the larches, too much sun couldn't kill them in this heat because they're not the best. I'm like really down there as low as you can probably get away easily doing them without frying them in the summer without really good cover. So they get some sun. The maples, I find the maples do better back here. Up front, I was getting way too much light in frying the leaves, and even here, the leaves, they could use either more light or less light or more sun. But we'll go through and show you this stuff. There is the newest ficus I bought. That's doing good. That seems to be doing pretty good. Back there is my forest, my larch and maple forest. As you can see, all the larches are doing really good. That one might need, I don't know, that might need a little light. I don't know if it needs a little water. Everything else looks good. And the thing looks wet, so it just might be from being in the sun a little too much today and a little warm. that it weeped a little bit. There's only 2 of them that are doing that, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to water these tonight before it doesn't rain. I don't think it's going to rain. There is my big larch that I cut back finally. This just needs, I think I need to clip the bottom back to help get some vigor in this leader, to start thickening the leader up. That is the Jacqueline Hillier elm that had a turn for the worse over the winter, and most of it died back. As you can see, it's sprouted a lot back, so we got stuff to work with. We can build a new leader. I'm not worried about that anymore. That's really good. This is a little maple forest, Kachuras and green leaves. I want to add some more maples to it. The one fall gold may go in there. The other one may go in there too. I'm not sure. And I want to grab a couple more maples for that. This is the maple I can't pronounce. Don't even like trying. Back here, it's doing good. This is, I think these are Zaccovias. I thought they were Chinese elms, but I've thought that one I bought last year was actually just in with the elms and was a Zaccovia. The leaves look more like a Zaccovia. The bark looks a little more like a Zaccovia. These down here, this is a Japanese maple, and this is a Japanese maple. They're either Kachuras or green leaves. And I'm gonna say, looking at my other ones, I'm gonna say these are both green leaves. That one's probably definitely a green leaf. This one may be a Kachura. Kachuras come out with this like reddish pink like pinkish, yeah, really pink new growth. And these kind of got that pinkish new growth, but these have got more of the green leaf sometimes get a little bit of a red to them when they come out, but they're more like a darker kind of burgundy red. This is another one of those. This I thought was dying. This bounced back. These are my 2 privets. This is the cascading Cotoneaster. This is my cherry. I brought it back here because it has a little bit of browning of the edges of leaves here, so I don't know if it's getting, I don't know if it was too wet or it was, because it was really wet. So it might have been getting too much, either getting too much water or too much light. I'm not sure. So I brought it back here. We'll try it. We'll see how it does back here first. There is that, that is the Atlas Cedar I bought. May buy another Atlas Cedar like that. Those, I thought that was a nice tree. I think the Atlas Cedars are really, and this is a true cedar, not like the North American cedars, like the red, the Western red cedar, I think it is, the Eastern white cedar. I think I have those right. There's a white and a red, but those are actually junipers. This is an actual true cedar. And then this is my new crabapple, which is called Indian Magic. I can't remember what the flowers look like on it. I think they're a little different than the flowers on my candied apple one. I'm not exactly sure, but I was liking the candy apple one, so I got this one. This one's a little bigger than the other one. This is about the same size as the one is probably now, but it's smaller. It's larger than the one I had when I started. Here are a bunch of red maple seeds. Just North American red maples that I got out of the trees up front. I just pulled leaves off in the spring, threw them in a thing, and grew out what I can grow out. I might grow out some more next year, because I'm still not sure. I may try to go with those, or I may stick with the green leaves. I don't know yet. I'm almost thinking maybe I'll try putting the native red maples instead of the Japanese maples with the large. I think they'll work. Now I'm seeing they can get smaller leaves, so okay, so that's that. That's the new stuff. Oh, no, there's one other thing. This is called a red twig dogwood. I'm growing it as a clump because it's already a clump, as you can see. But it has flowers on it. It had some flowers blooming again. Evidently, this thing can bloom more than once. It was blooming when I got it, and then I seen some blooms, but the flowers are just white cluster flowers. They're not bad looking, but they're not the main focus of this one. The main focus of this is in the winter, the twigs turn red. Red twig. The new growth and the twigs will go red. It was really red when I brought it in the spring. So I figured I'd try this. It don't look like it should be too bad for leaves. The lower leaves are small. Some of the bigger top leaves are bigger. And I just think that depends on when they were growing. And this needs to be, I'm going to be doing a chop back of this, cutting this back. This is really, I replanted it in the spring and it's done fine. So I think I will do some trimming of it back. Okay, so we'll take you up to the last bit. Okay, here we have the jungle, as it looks like sometimes. This is the front benches. The shade cloth has been doing really good this year. Has kept stuff, some of the stuff that was getting too much light last year is doing a lot better this year. As I said, maples all went back to the back though, so start getting in here. This is just the light here. This is a little bit of an experiment. I'm trying to make a cedar into, what do you call it, where the tree falls down. I can't think of the name right this second. I'm drawing a blank. Raft style. Trying to turn this into a raft style. So far it looks like it's still living, so as long as I can get it to eventually root underneath, I should be able to get it to work. And I know spruces can be turned into cuttings, so they'll root. They can root. I did that much of a look into it before I started, so I know that much. So we'll see what that does. I couldn't think of what to do with it. I bought it and then I didn't really know what to do with it, and I don't know about spruces a lot. Here's the sky flower. It's doing really good. It needs a little bit of water, it looks like. That's one that is a little thirsty, it looks like. As I said, I'm going to water after this, but we had cut it back and now it's doing pretty good. It's growing. It's going to need another clip maybe back to get it to back bud some before this gets too old a growth. I know they don't back bud well on older growth, so I should get this trimmed back some. This is a cutting off of it, which is doing really good back here. This here is the cascading Chinese elm, which I had thought I had lost this. I remember I had wanted this because we had lost over the winter we lost part of the cascade, and I was hoping this would work out well, and it did. It looked like it was going to die. The end died off, but it took off a few weeks later, so we're good there. There is the small cascading juniper that I trimmed up this spring. Back there, that's another one of the Zecovia trimmings. You can see the difference here. You can see there's a big difference between the Chinese elm here, the Chinese elm here, and then, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is a Sequoia. They're very similar trees, but these have a lot lighter thing, whatchamacallit, the leaves are slightly different. So I'm thinking that's a Sequoia. That's my experiment Chinese elm, the one that I've got all kinds of, I got 3 thread grafts going, and the latest one did just fine. It's surviving. This is off of it. It's doing just fine. So hopefully that'll eventually become a branch, the new leader, and we can cut off the part in the back which has died a lot. Here's a red maple, native red maple to North America. This is a rose that I'm trying to bonsai. This thing sat out all winter last year because it never lost its leaves, just like my rose in the garden last year. It never got quite cold enough for them to lose all of their leaves. So this just stayed out on the bench all winter long. I just kept an eye on it in case it was going to get really, really cold, then I'd do something with it. But I didn't want to put it in darkness when it still had leaves on it. So this is the clump style Trident. It needs to be weeded. But other than that, it's just growing, doing good. That is actually a tiger lily that still lives behind the bench. It grows up every year. It still lives back there. So we've just left it. I've just left it. That's the Cummins Nana juniper. That has put out a lot. I want to work on this pretty soon and decide more of what I'm going to do. Put out a lot of new growth that we can maybe replace other stuff with. If I go that route, it'll take a lot longer for the development of the tree, but like I don't know what's good on what I've got, and I might need some more anyway. So here's the Japanese juniper that I have back here. That's the Cascade. It's growing really good. It needs to be worked on pretty soon. Hiding back here, which needs more light, is the Dragon Claw Willow, which was sorry about the light, which rebounded just fine. This is my wisteria, which I have to chop the top off because it's going nuts. It was wrapped around the big Dawn Redwood the other day. I had to get it out of there. It's going nuts. So we'll have to clip that back in a video. The big weeping willow, some little cuttings down there. This is my willow-leafed ficus. Thinking I'm probably gonna do a clipping on that pretty soon. That needs to be weeded. We have my Portula cariafra group planting, which is doing great this year. They're doing really good, budding out all over. This is the Sequoia that I started with. The other Sequoias are cuttings off of. But again, it looks more like a Sequoia to me as I've looked into it. Just like it has a little bit more of a silvery gray, light silvery gray trunk, which they tend to have a little more lighter trunk than the Chinese elm. Back here is my Shimpaku juniper, which really needs more light. I have to get him a new spot, a better spot, maybe behind those guys, and push that back and put something in front of it or move it forward, one or the other. This is that one Japanese juniper that I have. This is my older apple, crabapple. I've been spraying it. It's doing a lot better than last year on the rust, but I still got some rust on it. I think I finally figured out where the rust comes from. I found the junipers that probably it comes off of. Our big apple, I don't know if it's ever going to recover. I've been trying for years to get that to recover. We got two small Dawn Redwood plantings in the back here. Here is the redwood, which would have been the last video I did. It's been about a month. The new leader's doing just fine. It put out a few more things here. It's doing really good, except the lowest branch, one of the lower branches, died off again. And again, like I've said, from what I've read, that's just a habit of these, that lower branches can die off on them. And you kind of have to go into that knowing that before you you deal with these. And like I said, that branch, you've seen the video, the branch was just fine, healthy. It's as healthy as these are. Everything else is healthy. It just went downhill and died. Back of here is the large Dawn Redwood, which is doing more than great. The new leader, I may have to I have to decide what's going to be the leader here. There's two leaders, and if I want this back here to be the leader, this one's got to be chopped off because it's stronger. But I think I'm going to cut this here and take that one, the thicker one, because it's grown up a little better, I think. So we'll have to deal with that pretty soon too. This is the Forsythia. No, yeah, I think that's how you said it. Forsythia. No. Yeah. Forsythia, I think it's called. They just put out these really, if you've ever seen them, you'd know them. They come out, they're just covered in yellow flowers in the spring. They're like one of the first things to come out with flowers in the spring. There's my big Trident Maple, which has grown all the way up to the shade cloth. So I'm gonna have to probably do something about that. I probably might have to cut it, I don't know, or bend it out this way and let it just grow. Seeing it's a sacrificial, I could probably eventually just let it grow up and out over that. And then last we have my Korean hornbeam, which was cut back a month ago, 2 months ago, somewhere in there. There was a video on that, and it's doing just fine. I have to check I do have to check and see if the wire is digging in yet, but I don't think it is yet. So that is my collection in the summer here, doing pretty good. So if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you with some more videos coming soon.